The law of divine oneness, the great truth. Nothing is separate, nothing is lost. We are all connected. To the degree that you harm others, you harm yourself. To the degree that you help others, you help yourself. Unknown. The highest function of the eye is to see the unity in things. Foregrounding the metaphysical in quantum physics. Modern physics now provides undeniable scientific evidence for this ancient wisdom. The principle of quantum non-locality, often called entanglement, demonstrates that two particles, once linked, remain instantaneously correlated across vast distances. When one is measured, the other's state is instantly determined, proving that at the deepest level, separation is an optical illusion. This spooky action at a distance, as Albert Einstein termed it, serves as a powerful metaphor and mechanical anchor. If the fundamental building blocks of matter are non-local, our collective consciousness is too, permanently connected to the unified source. The single greatest source of human suffering, the silent, aching epidemic of loneliness, fear, and conflict, is rooted in one core lie: the illusion of separation. We have been conditioned to believe that we are islands, isolated units of consciousness adrift in a cold, indifferent universe. The law of divine oneness is the radical antidote to this collective amnesia. It is the structural reality of our cosmos, revealing that beneath the dance of form, there is only one life, one consciousness, and one infinite field of existence. Imagine yourself not as a solitary point, but as a permanent, vital intersection within the single, luminous grid of all creation, the ripple effect of your existence, unveiling the porous self, because we are constituent parts of this singular, dynamic living organism. Our personal boundaries are far more porous and illusory than our senses lead us to believe. Your most private thoughts, your smallest acts of kindness or judgment, and your daily intentions are never truly isolated events. They are energetic frequencies that ripple outward through the collective consciousness, touching the lives of others in ways that are often invisible to the naked eye. This is how you are constantly co-creating the world. To grasp this porous reality, liken human interaction to tuning forks in a quiet room. Strike one with the frequency of anger, and the others will begin to hum with that same tension. Strike it with peace, and the room harmonizes. This provides a visceral sense of how your internal state immediately alters the external. Shared reality, energy in motion. Before you speak, ask, what quality of vibration, what kind of light, am I about to send through the shared luminous web? Let the entire planetary network become your conscience. The illusion of separation. This law provides the deepest moral compass. To knowingly cause harm to another being, or to degrade the sacred environment that sustains us, is revealed to be, quite literally, an act of self-mutilation against the larger unified self. Every wound you inflict echoes back within the collective body from which you draw your own life force. The cure for cosmic loneliness. The profound understanding of divine oneness eradicates the possibility of true isolation. You are not a solitary unit adrift in a vast, cold universe. You are permanently anchored, an essential, irreplaceable node in the shimmering, eternal fabric of existence. You are eternally connected to the source, and to every other expression of the source. Awakening to the whole. Reclaiming the role of the weaver. To consciously embrace this cosmic lesson is to fully reclaim your sovereign power as a weaver of reality. The world does not need you to launch immense global initiatives, though these are often beneficial. It primarily needs you to take radical, consistent responsibility for the quality of the vibrations you send through your specific corner of the universal network. This is the most powerful activism. By choosing compassion, mindfulness, and uncompromising integrity in your most mundane, moment-to-moment interactions, you actively cleanse, elevate, and amplify the frequency of the entire human ecosystem. It is in recognizing the divine in the other that you finally fully recognize the divine within yourself, shifting from living as a fragmented self to a conduit of the one life. The emancipation of the self, the cure for loneliness. The fundamental insight of divine oneness is an act of cosmic self-reclamation. Your lesson to self is the realization that your connection to the source is non-negotiable and absolute. You cannot be disconnected. Every moment of self-doubt, every pang of loneliness, and every experience of scarcity is rooted in the illusion of separation. To embrace this law is to release the exhausting effort of trying to find yourself or prove your worth. Your worth is inherent in your existence as an expression of the unified whole. Recognizing the divine oneness within you means honoring your intuition as a direct line of communication with the collective consciousness, and understanding that radical self-care is not a selfish act but an essential service to the web of life, as it ensures the quality of the vibration you send outward. The global blueprint, the collapse of the us versus them illusion. For the collective, the law of divine oneness serves as a revolutionary blueprint for global consciousness. Humanity's lesson is the immediate, non-negotiable recognition that conflict and exploitation are forms of collective self-mutilation. Systemic cruelty, war, and environmental degradation only persist because we operate under the delusion of separate, competing interests. When the porous nature of the self is universally understood, the logic of us versus them collapses. The core shift is from traditional sympathy, feeling for another, to radical empathy. The profound understanding that in our interconnected care economy, nurturing the other is literally nurturing the self. This makes radical empathy not merely a moral imperative, but a structural requirement for collective survival and energetic stability. Compassion ceases to be a noble choice and becomes the only rational, survival-oriented response. It shifts the global operating system from a zero-sum game of scarcity to an infinite-sum reality of shared creation and collaborative thriving. This awareness is the only true pathway to peace, as you cannot fight an external enemy that is, in essence, a reflection of an aspect of yourself. Practical guidance. Weaving consciousness into daily life. Applying the law of divine oneness is a daily practice of intentionality, turning mundane moments into acts of cosmic significance. Practice recognition, the glimpse. When engaging with anyone, the barista, a colleague, or a challenging stranger, make a conscious, split-second effort to see the divine spark within them, recognizing the shared consciousness beneath the personality. This instantly changes the tenor of the interaction. The intentional ripple. Before entering a new space or starting a conversation, pause and set a positive intention for the energetic ripple you wish to create. E.g., I choose to bring peace, clarity, or kindness to this moment. Conscious consumption. Recognize that your choices about what you consume, food, media, products, affect the entire web. Support systems that honor the interconnectedness of all life, thereby voting for a more harmonious collective reality with your resources. Daily gratitude audit. Spend time each day acknowledging the vast web of support required for your life, e.g., the rain, the soil, the global supply chains, the people who built your infrastructure. This practice grounds the abstract concept of oneness into tangible, daily reality. The master key, holding unity and accountability. The paradox of unity and harm, interpersonal boundaries. When someone acts unjustly, they are acting from the deepest illusion of the human experience, the illusion of separation. They are operating under the false belief that they can take from another without taking from themselves. To deal with this effectively, we must separate spiritual unity from physical tolerance. Recognizing the divine spark in someone does not mean giving them permission to burn your house down. Here are 3 practical ways to navigate injustice through the lens of divine oneness. Interrupt the judgment cycle, the inner work. When faced with an unloving act, our ego's immediate reaction is to build a wall of judgment. They are evil, I am good. We are separate. This reaction, while natural, actually lowers your own frequency to match theirs. The practice. Use the mirroring practice. When you feel intense judgment toward someone's unfairness, pause. Ask yourself, where does a smaller version of this flaw exist within my own shadow? Perhaps you are not a tyrant, but have you ever been unfair to a colleague? Have you ever acted out of fear or insecurity? The result. By recognizing that the seeds of their behavior also exist within you, you interrupt the energetic poison of hatred. You replace condemnation with a grounded, sober compassion. You don't have to like what they are doing, but you stop letting their darkness infect your inner peace. Establish energetic sovereignty, the boundary. There is a profound misconception that spiritual unity requires us to be passive doormats. To understand why this is false, look at the human body, a perfect metaphor for divine oneness. Every cell in your body is part of one unified organism. However, if a cluster of cells forgets this unity and begins to act destructively, like a virus or a cancer, the body's immune system does not passively tolerate it in the name of oneness. It creates a firm, undeniable boundary to neutralize the threat and protect the whole. The practice. You must act as the immune system for the collective. Establishing strict boundaries against toxic behavior, walking away from abuse, or standing up against systemic injustice is not a violation of oneness. It is an act of fierce love for the unified self. The result. You learn to say no, not out of hatred for the other person, but out of respect for the energetic safety of the whole. Shift from retribution to radical empathy, the action. When you must act against injustice, your intention changes everything. If you fight unfairness with the intention of destroying the other person, you are acting from the illusion of separation. You are striking the tuning fork with the frequency of war, which only creates more war. The practice, act from radical empathy. You take action to stop the harm, not to punish the confused soul committing it. You speak up, you vote, you protest, or you remove yourself from the situation, but you do it with a heart anchored in clarity, not vengeance. The result, you become a true weaver of reality. By holding your boundary with absolute firmness but without hatred, you elevate the frequency of the entire human ecosystem. The daily anchor dealing with unloving acts requires you to hold two truths at the exact same time. On a soul level, we are eternally connected. On a physical level, I will not permit this harm to continue. You can love the divine essence within someone while completely rejecting their earthly behavior. The sovereign act. Oneness and systemic action. Collective accountability. The spiritual truth of oneness often seems to clash with the painful physical reality of unfair governance, economic strain, and negligence that threatens human life. The crucial question is whether spiritual awareness mandates passive acceptance. The answer is a definitive no. You absolutely should speak against injustice and protest. A common misunderstanding dictates that spiritual evolution requires becoming entirely passive, a quiet tolerance of corruption and harm. This belief is a fundamental distortion of the truth. To understand why active intervention is required, we must look at how the universe actually operates. Society as a system. Architecture. Think of human society as a vast, interconnected network, a highly complex system architecture. Within this system, the government is simply an orchestration layer designed to distribute resources, maintain order, and protect the nodes, the people within the network. When a process within that system becomes misaligned and begins draining the energy of the people, such as the crushing weight of high inflation, or when structural foundations are built so poorly that they threaten the physical safety of the network, especially in environments where heavy rains and natural forces across central Luzon constantly test these physical structures. It is not spiritual to sit back and watch the system crash. A skilled architect does not ignore a fatal error in the code. They actively intervene to debug, rewrite, and secure the system. You, as a citizen, are a co-creator of this system. Speaking up is your way of flagging the error. The immune system of the collective. You can also view this through the lens of biology. Humanity is one single organism. When a cluster of cells within a body, in this case, leaders or institutions acting from greed or incompetence, begins to harm the rest of the body's immune system does not say, "We are all one, so I will let this infection destroy the heart." No. The immune system mounts a fierce, immediate defense. It creates a strict boundary to stop the harm and restore health to the whole. When you protest injustice, you are acting as the immune system of the collective body of humanity. The how is the key to mastery. Distinction between an unconscious reaction and a spiritually masterful action lies not in whether you protest, but in the frequency you hold while doing so. Here is how you deal with unfairness effectively. Change your fuel. If you protest using the energy of hatred, vengeance, or us versus them, you are feeding the very illusion of separation that caused the corrupt government to act selfishly in the first place. Instead, let your fuel be fierce love. You speak out not because you hate the people in power, but because you fiercely love your community, your family, and the collective whole. Hold the boundary of accountability. You can recognize the shared humanity in a leader, while simultaneously demanding they be removed from their position or held accountable for poor projects. Spiritual oneness does not excuse worldly consequences. Take constructive action. As the law of action dictates, insight requires movement. Protest, write, organize, and vote. But also, channel your energy into building the alternative. Support local community structures. Share resources where inflation hurts the most, and become the integrity you wish to see in your leadership. You are here to experience the contrast of this physical density and to actively shape it toward the light. Standing up against suffering is one of the highest spiritual acts you can perform, provided you do it with a heart anchored in clarity rather than venom. Profound benefits. Anchoring the soul in certainty. The sustained application of divine oneness yields transformation at every level of being. Eradication of fear and loneliness. The greatest benefit is the release from existential dread. Knowing you are eternally connected dissolves the core fear of isolation and provides a sense of unconditional belonging. Amplified co-creation. When you align your personal vibration with the collective good, the universe supports your intentions more powerfully. You move from struggling against the current to being carried by the collective flow. Unwavering empathy. True empathy evolves from feeling sorry for someone to experiencing their reality as part of your own. This deepens all relationships and makes authentic service effortless. Enhanced intuition. As separation dissolves, the noise of the ego quiets, allowing you to access clearer insights and guidance from the unified field, the collective wisdom of all existence. Deepening the connection. Affirmation and meditations. Law is not meant to remain an abstract concept. It is designed to be lived and experienced through daily practice, grounding the truth of interconnectedness into your being. Daily affirmation. The declaration of unity. Repeat this affirmation throughout your day, especially when you feel isolated, judgmental, or fearful. I am not separate. I am a vital, irreplaceable thread in the living tapestry of the universe. The divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in all others. My peace is the world's peace. The luminous web, a meditation on anchoring divine light. Use this exercise to vividly experience the reality of divine oneness. Preparation, 5 minutes. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. With each inhale, imagine drawing pure, limitless source energy into your body. With each exhale, release any tension, doubt, or illusion of separation. Visualization, 8 minutes. Visualize a single point of light in the center of your chest, your divine spark. As you continue to breathe, see this light expanding, growing brighter until it completely envelops your body, forming a sphere of radiant warm light. Expansion, 7 minutes. Now, visualize your sphere of light beginning to expand beyond your room, beyond your building and into your neighborhood. See your light touching the light of every person, animal, and plant around you. Continue to expand your light outward, over your city, your continent, and eventually enveloping the entire planet. Integration, 5 minutes. Hold this vision. The entire Earth wrapped in a cohesive, shimmering net of interconnected light. Recognize that every other living being is a node in this same network. Feel the energetic truth that any light you generate strengthens the whole, and any suffering in the whole is gently felt by you. Rest in this profound, unified field, knowing you are never alone. Return. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, and then back to the room, carrying the deep, unwavering certainty of your unity with all things.
I tie my shoes, I walk the line, I tell the mirror that I'm doing fine. But there's a quiet aching in my chest, a lonely ghost that never gets to rest, thinking I'm a single drop of rain, just falling down to wash away the drain. But then you smiled at me on the street, and I felt the pavement shift beneath my feet, a glowing thread from your heart to mine, a sudden flash of the grand design. We are the ripple, we are the tide. There is no distance, there is no divide. I feel your sorrow, I share your breath. We are connected from birth until death. Tear down the walls of the great illusion, find our peace in the beautiful fusion. We are one. We are one. They sold us fear, they sold us the race, told us to fight